And the way he presents them is really sad, and it's a letdown. So people around the president are letting him down. The president's speech is supposed to be given to him in advance, and he should sit with some people to practice this speech. When he reads his speeches, he stumbles a lot. He mispronounces words. That can happen to anyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome again. It's been a while since I've posted a video, so do not forget to subscribe. So this video is about what is happening now in South Sudan with the basketball team. It is something that is unprecedented, not only in South Sudan but also in Africa. So we are all excited. We are all behind the team. So except for a few outliers, the majority of us are supportive of the team. So this is something that we should all be proud of, and not only be proud of, but we should also see it as something from which we can learn. So if we look at everything else in South Sudan, for some of these days, most of the news coming from South Sudan has been negative. And in some cases, we've seen that South Sudan last month trended on Twitter. And it trended not because of something positive, it trended because of the killing of the people in these soldiers and civilian in Unity State. The burning of a man inside a house, and also the firing of the 3 men. So South Sudan trended. But when the South Sudanese national team beat some of the giants of basketball in Africa, South Sudan started to trend. And it was trending in a positive way, so which is something we would want to see. But what does it tell us? What does the success of the team tell us? It tells us a number of things. 1, leadership. 2, organization. 3, commitment. So these are 3 things that do not always go hand in hand in Africa. So in some cases, you may have a leader who is efficient, who says they want to do something, but then they don't have any level of organization, so sort of organize things. And then when they organize things, they don't follow through. So one of the main problems in a place like South Sudan is leaders promise things, and when they promise things, after a while, they are expected by the citizens to come back and say, okay, this is what we promised, this is what we've achieved, and this is what we didn't achieve, and this is why we did not achieve what we did not achieve. And also, this is what we've learned, and this is how we plan to learn from the positive aspects of what we achieved, and also what we learned from the negative aspect of our failures. So they don't always go hand in hand. So what Luol Deng has done with the team is something remarkable, and it's something that people should learn from. I understand now there's some problems within the Basketball Association and the issues of leadership, some people who want to cause some problems. So, but we should be careful. You don't spoil something this good. No one is going to say Luol Deng is perfect, but what he's done is remarkable, and we should all appreciate it. And South Sudanese leaders should not only prioritize something that has succeeded, they should also use this success to sort of bring up other sporting activities or other sectors of the country, whether they are cultural or whether they are political or whether they are economic or social. They should always say, okay, we've succeeded here, how can we succeed in other places? So this is something that they can do. We have also the national team for football or soccer, they say in North America. There's also a talk about the women national team that That's also not being talked about. And then we have the football team. It's not so well organized as the basketball. So we can use this to sort of organize ourselves as something positive. So South Sudanese leaders, especially those who want to the games, it's exciting, yes. But you can also create excitements in your own ministries or in your own role, whether you are a director of some sort, or you are a undersecretary, or you are an advisor. You can still create the same level of success. It's all about knowing that your role is defined, knowing that you function in your role as you're supposed to function. For example, President Kiir, for example, he goes out to speak and also reads speeches. And the way he presents them is really sad, and it's a letdown. So people around the president are letting him down. The president's speech is supposed to be given to him in advance, and he should sit with some people to practice this speech. When he reads his speeches, he stumbles a lot. He mispronounces words. That can happen to anyone. So when you see people like Barack Obama being really, really efficient in their speeches, it's not because they are naturally remarkable. These people are tutored. They read these speeches. They go over the speeches over and over to the point where you're reading it, it becomes easier. If there are words that you don't know how to pronounce, because English is not our first language, it's a language we learn. So sometimes we stumble over words, or sometimes we read words we are not used to. So the president should be allowed to read his speeches. The other thing also, when the president goes out to speak in any capacity, for example, recently when he gave a speech to the unified force that was being graduated, some of the things he said are okay, but there are some things that may feel out of place and they may be misconstrued. So that's why it's really, really crucial to sort of let the president know, okay, you're going to speak today. This is what you're supposed to speak on. Do not pass this. This is the topic you're supposed to speak. Do not speak on something we do not discuss. That's what the advisors should tell the president, that we have discussed this. So when you speak on this and restrict yourself to this. Do not speak on things we do not discuss. That's how you allow the president to be really, really to come out as someone who is prepared, someone who knows what he's saying, someone who's not stumbling over words, not stumbling over ideas. So, for example, what he said about the army, that you are now loyal to South Sudan and to the flag, which is okay. But then he said, I am now the commander-in-chief. That's true. But he could say it in a different way so that it doesn't sound like saying, look, he's now the one who can command the army, the other ones do not. The other thing is, for example, telling the army that they would fight corruption. How does the army fight corruption? That doesn't make any sense. They are not politicians, they're soldiers. So it was misplaced. So that's why it's good to have the president sort of practice speech, restrict what he says so that he doesn't speak anyhow. Thank you.